cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain?
All right, welcome into the Views from C-Deck. If you just watched us, yeah, it's still the same night. But we are, now that the Buckeyes season finishes 11-2 with no Big Ten championship, no win against Michigan, no national championship or playoff win. Kind of disappointing, considering as beginning of this year I said, if not now, when? I guess the win is now the question. But so a lot of big challenges facing Ryan Day, or I guess questions. Especially, I mean, mainly he needs to win that game in November against that team up north. But there's a lot of games before that, so we're going to look ahead to next season. And Casey, what are you thinking? A lot more difficult schedule. We're replacing C.J. Stroud, obviously huge, and replacing those two offensive tackles. What do you think we are looking like early on?
It does make me a little nervous, but it's set up somewhat for a new quarterback. We don't have Notre Dame right out the gate like we did this year. We have three pretty much cupcakes right before. I mean, one of them's Indiana. I guess that's
opener is at Indiana at night, probably.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's not a cupcake, but I'm not worried about losing that game. And then the next two are cupcakes. Getting our feet wet a little bit. And then the big one's at Notre Dame. I thought we were by far the better team this year, and we didn't dominate in that. So that one's got me a little concerned. And then do we play? Who's the West that we play?
I don't even know off the top of my head. Hold on.
I think we play Wisconsin again. At
Wisconsin, and it's on the road. So Fickle on the road they just got a couple transfer quarterbacks.
Yeah, so you got Notre Dame on the road, Wisconsin on the road, and Scum on the road. It's going to be rough. I could see us going 11-1, but if we beat Scum, it doesn't matter. If we lose to Notre Dame or Wisconsin, and then we beat Scum, and then win the Big Ten, we're still going to be in the playoff. So,
very, very good chance of that.
Just like every other year, you beat them, that's all that freaking matters.
So we play Minnesota is another one.
They're losing Ibrahim though, right? I think.
Maybe. I don't know anymore with these COVID years.
Yeah.
And we get to make that fun trip in October to West Lafayette.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. To the team that has beaten us as many times as any other team in the Big Ten since 2000, the Purdue Boilermakers, with a new head coach.
I don't think they worry me as much, but they're definitely, they're like, I've referenced Indiana before where it's like they always almost beat us, but Purdue actually pulls it off.
Here's where I'm at with that game, though. It's the week before Penn State comes to town, and I expect Penn State to be very good next year. Like, maybe if I had to make a pick right this second of who wins the East, I think it's them, to be honest. They're bringing a lot back, and I think now that Sean Clifford's gone and Drew Aller steps in, who I think is the truth, and I mean, I know Sean Clifford's not the truth, so they can't. I don't think they can be worse, and they have a lot of talent coming back. They got offensive tackle that's going to would have been a top 20 pick this year is coming back for some reason, which just blew my mind a little bit. But
you're thinking if we lose to Scum again, you're thinking we could go 9-3.
I think 9-3 is possible next year. Something I never thought this year. I didn't think more than one loss was possible.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame, at Wisconsin, at Purdue, Penn State at home, at Michigan. Those are all games that are losable. Not that we'll lose them all, but they're losable.
They're above.
As of now.
Other than Purdue, I'd say all of those are like a 30% or higher lose rate.
At Michigan is 50 at best at this point. So they're not going to be worse, for sure. They got pretty much everybody back again, besides their line, but their line's been the best line the last 2 years, and they've got a bunch of transfers already. They're going to be
And at Notre Dame is probably 40%. I think we win 60. But
I think they're going to be a lot better because they got that quarterback from Wake Forest is going to transfer there, and he's a huge improvement over what they had before.
yeah. I mean, I think we had a bad game against them. It was our first game.
And JSN gets hurt right away, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was our defense. That was the best defense played all year, probably.
Yeah, it's so weird how most of our best efforts were the first half of the year, and then it just seemed like we never had the A game again until Georgia.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the quarterbacks a little bit. You think that we're replacing CJ, so it's a big battle between Devin Brown and Kyle McCord, most likely, unless we bring somebody in transfer portal, which seems unlikely at this point, since most of those guys have already gone elsewhere. And the freshman that's coming in, Kynels from South Dakota, I like him a lot, but it's really hard to beat out a guy that's been in the system for a couple of years when you're brand new. It's hard to even just get the playbook down, let alone go show that you can execute it.
Yeah.
But he's a very good athlete. Devin Brown, more of an athlete too. Kyle McCord, your traditional drop back passer, but he's showed some ability, I guess. But we've seen him the most out of any of these guys. He's never looked amazing, but he's never looked horrible either, I don't think. So, but I trust Day to get a good quarterback out there. I do trust Day in that.
Yeah, that's why I'm still thinking. I mean, just like every freaking year I say it, but we have a chance to make a statement again this year just because of Ryan Day. I mean, all of the criticism he had after the Michigan game, if you look back, I'd still say we're the best offense in the country. So if you have the
Fully
best,
healthy, yes.
would you say?
Fully healthy, yes.
Yeah. So if you have the best of one unit in the entire country, you're going to have a chance no matter what. Now, if our defense is 50th or 60th, then that's going to go out the door again. But we're still going to have all of our skill players, Abuka, Marvin, Henderson, Mayan, hopefully all of them.
Prior back.
So, like Urban said, after JT got hurt, going into that playoff run, that the quarterback is, I forget the exact phrasing, but it's about what's around him. So, and these guys are no scrubs. They're both 5 stars, I think, aren't they? Devin Brown and Kyle McCord.
Brown, somebody said that on the radio today. I don't think he was. He definitely wasn't a composite 5-star. Maybe he wasn't. He was
on maybe some random board, like I don't know, but he was a high 4 for sure.
Yeah. He was top 6 quarterback in their class, composite.
Yeah. So I think either way, but my gut was McCord all year just because he was the obvious backup to Stroud, but I'm thinking he might go the Devin Brown route because of all the seems like all the success against elite teams this year have had a running quarterback. I mean, Stetson Bennett isn't. I mean, he's not like the fastest dude in the world, but he's mobile enough. And look what TCU's quarterback Dugan did to Michigan. I mean, that was the key to beat them.
And McCarthy once McCarthy started running against TCU, it opened up that game for them.
Yeah.
Too.
So he might. I'm guessing McCord is about as athletic as Stroud when it comes to running the ball.
I think Stroud's way more athletic. At least it has straight line speed.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking my gut has changed now, and Devin Brown might get the edge if it's kind of 50-50. He wants that mobile quarterback.
I mean, really though, nobody knows. And I haven't heard a damn soul that has any confidence in exactly what's going to happen because nobody's seen enough of these guys from in practice or in games, or knows exactly what's going through Day's head right now. Because like you said, he could be moving towards when Devin Marola says bye-bye to us. Did we push him out? There's questions about that because he's not a runner at all either. And then this kid we signed in 2023 is a runner for sure.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. I don't think that. I don't know. You can't get rid of the number 1 quarterback in the country.
I don't think that happened either, but it's been rumored. it's been put out there. But maybe there is a philosophical change. And like you said, there's a lot around him. Whoever wins the job is going to have all kinds of toys to throw the ball to. However, they are losing both offensive tackles, and we haven't necessarily recruited that position too well in the past few years. Josh Fryer seems like he'll be good though. I think he'll be solid at most likely right tackle. He's a big mauler and seems pretty athletic and played well when he was in this year. The left tackle though, you're replacing a top 20 pick most likely in Paris Johnson, who was great except for one play in that game against Georgia, but great all year. Consensus All-American. And I don't know if we have anybody on the roster, and I don't think our coaches think that because we tried to get guys in this first transfer portal window, and we didn't get any of them because Ohio State's NIL needs some work. If you haven't followed that recruiting and stuff, we're not where we usually would think we would be because you would think with the biggest alumni base in the country and a huge city around it that we would have tons of NIL money set up. We have it for you if you've already established yourself here. We do not have it to bring in recruiting classes right now. And so the guys that are transferring and stuff, we're not getting them the money straight up. And it's just not, so haven't landed these elite guys in the transfer first portal window. We got shut out after we offered about 6 linemen.
Yeah, I've been wondering what's the deal with that. Why it's almost like we got to change our philosophy. Like it's like in the past, we were the team where if we even somewhat slightly broke a rule, we'd turn ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like there are rules, but teams break the rules and there's no repercussions. And we're like scared to break those rules almost is what it kind of seems like to me. But we just got to say screw it.
And I think Days also said, like, I've read also rumors that he didn't want to pay guys before. He wants the guys that are on the team to get paid, not the ones that haven't played here yet. But that's just not going to work, to be frank. Like, you got to pay some if you want this elite talent. I mean, either you got to pay them now or let them, or they have to be very sure, like the wide receivers are. That's why they're still coming here, that they're going to get paid in the future, either by the NFL or by NIL or whatever.
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised that Raiola left, because you're going to the NFL. You're going to win that job. If you can't win the job, then you're not going to make it in the NFL.
That's certainly true. Joe Burrow didn't win the job.
There's outliers. That's the exception.
That's a pretty big one, though.
Yeah.
Okay, Baker Mayfield didn't win the job at his first college stop. Kyler Murray didn't win the job at his first college stop. That's three number 1 overall picks I just named. That didn't win the job.
9-1.
What did you say?
I bet there's 99-1.
Yeah, but I'm saying he could still be the number 1 overall pick.
Sure.
Defensively, though, this is where things really get interesting because we paid Jim Knowles a fuck ton of money for defensive coordinator to come here and fix the mess that was made in 2020 and 2021. The Silver Bullets have not been the Silver Bullets for 4 out of the last 5 years. They've been horrendous. Let's put it that way. What it is. And it looks like the personnel isn't quite there. We just got to transfer, though, at safety, and safety is definitely where we need an infusion of talent. They killed us against Georgia. The D-line should be talented again, though. A lot of guys that at least have shown huge flashes. Michael Hall, JTT, Sawyer occasionally, although I'm not quite as high on him, but Caden Curry behind both of them, I thought flashed a lot when he was in this year, made plays, and had a great spring game as well. So I'm not too worried about D-end. Baptiste also transferred. We're going to lose Zach Harrison. But there should be a lot of talent in D-line. It sounds like Eichenberg and Chambers both coming back, which would be huge because they were very good this year, and I would say could only get better with even more seasoning, and could definitely will be the leaders of this defense, I would say, along with JTT. But then the back 7, or the back 5, I guess, sorry. Lots of questions. Did not play well at all year, and we had another cornerback transfer, so we're very thin at corner. Safeties, Ransom just played the worst game of his career. Hickman probably gone. McAllister might be gone, but I think he might have another year. I don't know with this COVID stuff.
He probably does have another year.
But, so do you think that we turn it around, Casey? There's my flat out. Do you think that Knowles can do it?
Turn it around as in win a freaking natty next year?
turning around as in the defense is like a legit top 15 defense, not just playing good defense against the Miami Ohios or the Arkansas States or Notre Dame with a terrible quarterback.
I don't know, man. My gut would say no. I mean, like you said, if Eichenberg and who else did you say staying?
Chambers.
Both of them stay. Plus, we have elite defensive linemen. It's just all about that secondary. We got to get more people out of the portal. We can't do it with what we have right now. We're too thin. It's going to be the same old story, but I do have a little bit of hope because when a new guy comes in with a new scheme, you got to give him a little bit of time to expect. I even told myself this in the beginning of the year that I can't expect him to flip it around like that. But it seemed like he did. So I drank the freaking Kool-Aid and I convinced myself that he did turn it around. And then by the year, it was just full gold. But
yeah, it was gold.
I'm not going to say he turns it around, no. But I'm not saying I'm not going to be shocked if he does.
I'm going to say he does, and I don't really have a ton of confidence in that, but the way he did it at Oklahoma State was similar. And like I said in our previous podcast, you don't just take the 70th best defense and turn them into a top 10 defense. Very rare, unless you have like the only good defense we've had the last 5 years. Chase Young had one of the greatest seasons in the history of any D lineman. Like, that's a huge part. And then we had another top 5 pick at cornerback, which helps shut down half the field too. So you're really behind the 8 ball if you're trying to pass the ball against us like right away.
Yeah.
But we don't have him. And even though I think JTT is really good, he ain't Chase Young from what I've seen here. He does not have that explosiveness off the ball, and doesn't have the speed and freakish athleticism. Like he's freakishly athletic for how big as he is, but he's not in Chase Young's class. And so that's there are levels to the shit, as they say.
Yeah.
But he incrementally got Oklahoma State better. He didn't start them out as a top 10 defense, which they ended up this last year. They were like 80th, and then they were like 60th, and then they're like 20th. Like, they slowly moved up. And like you said, and you're trying to put in a new system, it means you're probably not teaching fundamentals as much as you should be. And I think that hurt our secondary a lot because, like, I'm watching Cam Brown. This was early in the game. They ran a simple out pattern on him, but he had already bailed when the guy cut the out, and he turned his back to the play. Like, he spun around by turning his back to the play. I was like, who teaches that as you're never taught to turn your back to the play? Like, ever. Yeah. And, I mean, it didn't, like, really kill us on that play or anything like that, but I'm like, that is just terrible fundamentals. And the back pedal that Ransom did where he fell down was very similar, where he, like, couldn't even turn around because he had just poor technique in his back pedal, and he's got caught staring. So maybe they get more focused on that, and that helps improve, plus another year in the system of training it, and there's less busted coverages or busted gaps like against Michigan that happened. But, God, I just don't know if we have the personnel, though, to be honest, in the back 5 to fix it. I do not know if we do.
And he's not going to change his scheme to fit the personnel. I don't think he will.
You're right, and I think he should. He should have, at least after that Michigan game, realized I can't go cover 0 ever. Which it wasn't cover 0, by the way. The Ransom play, we did have a safety in the middle of the field, and everybody thought it was cover 0. The safety also blew the play, so he went to the other side of the field. But neither here nor there, because it was just terrible coverage by Ransom, so it doesn't really matter.
But if he could have tackled him on the 20, who knows? I mean, our red zone defense was actually playing pretty decent that game.
They did. And we had a lot of really good things happen, but in the third quarter, I guess, at least. But also, like, Stetson Bennett, he did. I've also seen this. The first drive that they end up missing a field goal on, Georgia, Bennett, if he hands off the ball on their third down play, it's like 3rd and 2. It's a touchdown. It's a read he's making. But he had the right read. And people are like, oh, he should have kept it. I'm like, no. JT was who was reading, and he crashed down, just not fast enough to get that guy. So that guy was through the hole before he got there. But he did crash down. That's the read. He saw him crash, so he took it. And so it was the right read. It's just, if he had happened to make the wrong read, it would have worked for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could have been worse than it even was. And yeah, just all the good offenses. Said this in the previous podcast. Every good offense we played, the top four, all went for huge yards and over 30 points against us, and made it look easy for the most part too. It wasn't like they were particularly stressed out. I guess maybe Penn State didn't make it look easy, but that's Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
I feel about him. Special teams wise, Parker Fleming, as they say on my Buckeye Planet website, what do you do here? What would you say you do, Bob?
Yeah. Stealing money.
Yeah, stealing money, because the special teams aren't special in any way, shape, or form. I guess we blocked a kick this year, but we don't return kicks particularly well. We don't return punts at all. We cover punts fine, but everybody does nowadays. That's easy. These roll out Australian style punts or rugby style kicks or whatever. Field goals, lack of talent perhaps, but we did bring in another long distance kicker, and we were nothing special at all in field goal units. And we had a blown in both big games, blown fake punts, because it would have been 12 men on the field also. So we would have successfully, had Kirby not called that, successfully effed up 2 fake punts on our own. That would have worked. So what do you do here, Parker Fleming? Can we get rid of this guy?
Yeah. Well, we absolutely can get rid of him, right? I mean,
he's not a recruiter at all. He doesn't recruit anybody that I know of.
Special teams coach has to be one of the easier coaches to replace, I would think.
So let's do that, because I mean, special teams have been taken more and more out of the game as we've gone on, but we can be
Bring
better.
Tressel in.
What do you say?
Let's bring Tressel in.
Oh, baby, you're scratching me right where it itches. If I could, here's the perfect coach: Ryan Day for the first 3 quarters and Jim Tressel in the 4th quarter with a Jim Tressel kicker on the team.
Yeah, we win that.
Win that game. We suck that puppy dry, and we kick a couple field goals, and we win that game like 40. But we'd probably never get to the 3rd quarter without being down by 20 against them.
Yeah.
With a modern style. Who knows? Who knows, though? Tressel was actually kind of adjusting when all that went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other thoughts going in? So we have a great quarterback battle. Reminds me of 2015. So in this offseason, we're going to do a reminiscence about that whole quarterback battle, how we felt about it at the time. Yeah, we know we both did not agree with Urban's choice in the end, and neither did Urban by the middle of the season. But I think it's something interesting to think about, and it's a podcast I want to do for a long time. That'll be probably the biggest story of the offseason, I think. Also, Day is giving up play calling, or so it's been rumored. And that could be very interesting. I think he'll still have a lot of input, though, like Urban did. I don't expect it to look totally different at all. But maybe it helps us with some of these procedural things without him having to, manage everything in his head at the same time while he's calling plays. If he's just there, we maybe waste fewer timeouts going in.
I'd say this offseason is probably my least confident in a long, long time. I mean, when was the last time when we lost JT, we at least saw Haskins come in and win the Michigan game the previous year. We don't know any. I mean, I guess we didn't know anything about Stroud coming into last year, right? So that was maybe that going into last year was maybe a little bit close, but I don't think it's anywhere near this because our defense we thought it was fixed and it's not. And we have to replace quarterback.
Yeah. I'd say it's more the schedule that has me not confident, because that year with Stroud, we didn't have a lot of tough games early. We had Oregon. Thought Oregon would be that tough of a game, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought even if we lose to Oregon, we went out, we're good, and we were.
Yeah. We turned out to be right, but then we didn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be the first time I'm not thinking we're guaranteed 10 wins because of the schedule. 3 tough road games 4 tough road games really, just Purdue's our bugaboo. Not that they're that good, but they're our bugaboo going to West Lafayette. But at Notre Dame, at Wisconsin, at Purdue, and then at Scum at the end of the year. And then I think Penn State is the most talented team that will play all year, and they come to the shoe though. So I'm confident that we can win that. We can win that game, but it'll be tough.
Yeah, I mean, every year that the playoff is since the playoff has been here, I've thought we have a legit chance to make the playoff. This year is probably my lowest confidence.
Yeah,
but
I expect us to be ranked top 5 to start the year coming in.
You said we'll be top 5?
No, I don't expect us to be top 5.
Yeah, that'll be the first time in a while, probably, that we are not top 5.
I mean, I don't think I'd be too far outside of it, but I don't expect it.
They'll probably put Notre Dame at like 12.
Depends on who all comes back. I'm not sure about all their guys. If Foskey and all them are, I mean, he's probably gone, and so is Mayer. Yeah, they probably are. You're probably right.
I mean, but you're right. I just based off of everything we've already talked about, I don't think we'd be top 5. But then if you start thinking about it, who's going to be ahead of us? You'd put Georgia, Bama. They'd probably put Michigan,
Clemson,
and who else? USC,
maybe Tennessee,
USC.
USC. I would say probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, they did lose the bowl game. They're still basically what Lincoln Riley always is: great offense, terrible defense.
I mean, we looked like the second best team in the country just now. But
well, Michigan will be ahead of us. I think Michigan will be ahead of us to start the year.
yeah, I already said them.
Oh, okay.
So Alabama, Georgia. Well, it'll be Georgia.
Penn State could be ranked ahead of us to start the year.
They could, but the guarantees are Alabama, Georgia. Probably. I don't even know if Clemson's guaranteed to be ahead of us. They look like dog shit.
But no, these bowl games. You're right. That's what they base it off of a lot of times, though.
They do.
Oregon will be ranked high. They might be.
We'll be right there on 5, I bet.
Yeah, it'll be close. Well, okay. I'll just answer it. We win a national title next year.
I'd say no.
I'll say no. Ken, are we winning the game? That should be the goal next year. Get that game.
Well, it's definitely the goal.
Yeah.
That's what the whole season's about. I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'll say this. If Knowles does turn the defense around, then, yeah, we can win a freaking natty. if he like a top 15 defense, which is what we should be.
I have a chance. I think just the schedule is just too hard, though. I think we're not getting in this coming year.
It's definitely hard. This would be the year for it to be 12 teams. God damn it.
Yeah, if we were 12, I'd say we could make a run once we get there, but
yeah,
it's too many landmines, and yeah, but maybe Devin Brown is a better version of CJ. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. That Michigan game is going to be huge. I think they're going to have so much confidence, being so cocky, and we're going to be so pissed. But I said that coming into this year. So
there may be no Harbaugh too. It sounds like he's really flirting with the Carolina Panthers right now, among others.
Real quick, what's your opinion on that? Because before they beat us these last 2 years, I'm like, keep him around, baby. I hate this dude, but he can't beat us. But now he's beaten us a couple times. But I want payback. But also, losing your coach can ruin a team. So I don't know what I want to happen.
Oh, that's a good point. Because maybe they get somebody more sane there and better. Both their coordinators are really good this year, I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them ends up as the head coach, and they're better, but that's really risky.
I'm torn on what I want to happen.
Yeah. I think I want him to stay, to be honest. But
yeah.
Because devil never is devil you don't. I think, but he does appear to be in Day's head too. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's usually not good when your team loses your head coach.
Right, usually. But I know we lost and got Urban, so
True.
Things happen.
But we had a terrible in between there.
That's true. And that was sanction related, though. Anyway, that'll do it though for this podcast. But we are going to have a lot of stuff this off season coming up. We're going to do an all-time 85-man roster team. Should be really cool. I think it'd be really interesting for any of you who like that kind of stuff. We're going to do a big podcast about the 2015 quarterback battle and how we thought about it since we had that coming up. Lots of Buckeye basketball stuff too, and maybe not as frequently as we do these podcasts for the football, but we'll talk about them because I think they're really, if you haven't watched them yet, go watch them. They're fun to watch. They got a lot of dudes that are going to be in the NBA. I think multiple guys this year, especially the freshman Sensabaugh, but he'll be in there next year for sure. He's going to be gone. So enjoy him while he's here, but they're fun to watch, and they got Purdue, number 1 Purdue, on Thursday. So check them out. And we'll talk about the draft, though. We'll talk about the spring game. We'll have all kinds of things going on. And some stuff not sports related. Like I'll finally actually put up that TV Desert Island one podcast that we made a while ago. But that'll do it for us. I'm Just Matt. This is Direwolf, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys! Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
A rich man's world.